You can change your story and change your life. Are you ready to take that step to creating change through growth and transformation, which often leads to a more satisfying and successful life? I'm Terry Yoffe, and welcome. These podcasts are an integral part of the Try Coaching brand, delivering the same messaging as my coaching platform. Given my own story, I've often been referred to as a gladiator because I had a vision for whom I wanted to be, and it was going to take many challenges to get there. So I spent my entire life going into that arena every day, and no matter what, I got up and went back in until I achieved that vision and my successes. Armed with this perspective, I encourage my clients to become the gladiators of their own lives by reaching deep within themselves to find their own courage as they cut through the stories that they have been telling themselves forever. And finally, they begin to understand that these stories have kept them from having the power to reach their own potential and successes. Once they step outside of their comfort zones, they can meet these challenges head on and finally achieve what has been eluding them all these years. Through my podcast, Extraordinary Work, Conversations about Creating Change, I have the privilege of talking to those gladiators that are creating changes in their workplace, environment, or how people think about their life choices. These conversations will offer you a chance to think about how you can make choices that can propel you to a more fulfilling life and greater purpose by being courageous and honest. Welcome, I'm Terry Yoffe. Change your story, change your life. What stories do we tell ourselves that hold us back personally and professionally? And we all tell ourselves stories. So when you say, I don't tell myself any stories, sure you do. We all do. And what stories can do is they can self-sabotage. They can keep you from reaching your goals. So stories can sound like, oh, I can't go for that job. I'm not good enough. Or, oh, I can't start a relationship. I'm not good enough. Or, I'm not worthy enough to ask for a promotion or a raise. Others can, but I can't. Or, we're not valuable enough. Oh, I can't, again, ask for the promotion. I can't advocate for myself. I would love to change jobs. However, the market is crazy and there are so many better people out there. How many of us can relate to those stories or whatever else you tell yourself? I know for me, I told myself many stories a long time ago. Oh, I couldn't get this job and I couldn't get up on a stage and I couldn't do this. But I didn't listen. I did what I wanted to do, and that moved me to my successes. Stories keep us playing small. They keep us in our comfort zones. Our comfort zones where we don't get to be courageous. We don't get to risk anything. And also, they keep us from getting to where we want to go. We play small when we listen to these stories. So, what would it be like if you could change your story? And what would it take for you to change that story? Say yes instead of no. When something comes up, even though you're scared, even though you're fearful, even though you feel, oh my God, I'm going to be vulnerable, say yes. I said yes to my first sales job. I did not have any sales experience. I said, yes, why not? What could go wrong? Nothing went wrong. Actually, everything went right, and found out I'm a great salesperson. But had I said no, we'd be having a different conversation, because I went on to be an incredible salesperson for a lot of years. And when I decided to leave the corporate world, my inner voice, that story said, oh, what are you, crazy? Look at the benefits. Look at what you got. Look at how much money you make. And I didn't listen. I got in that rowboat and I went off to do my own thing. Had I said no, I don't know where I'd be. You've got to be willing to be courageous. You've got to be willing to let go of being vulnerable, being fearful, feeling like if I say yes, I'm an imposter. That's not true. It really isn't. And it lets you play a bigger game. When we listen to the stories, we play small. When we say yes, when we're willing to take a step out, swing out, we start to play a bigger game. What comes with a bigger game? A bigger stage, more opportunities. And it takes letting go of that fixed mindset, that mindset that only looks one way, rather than a growth mindset, which allows us to open up our lens wide and look around and be willing to say, if it doesn't work, so what? I did that with my podcast. I didn't know anything about podcasting. I decided this is what I wanted to do. And 3.5 years ago, I said, okay, I'm going to go for it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I still have me. And 3.5 years later, I'm in the top 2% globally. I never expected that. I've had so many amazing people that want to come on and share how they've created change, because the podcast is called Extraordinary Work, Conversations about Creating Change. If you don't allow yourself to create change and let go of these stories, you won't achieve what you want. You won't achieve those successes, those goals. What's one thing that you can start to do now? One thing that sets you on the path of making these changes. Start small. Maybe you've wanted to advocate for yourself for something. Try it. Go and do it. Maybe you wanted to have a heart-to-heart talk with your manager. Even as a leader, we get caught up in stories. And as a leader, what might you do to open the field, to become more caring, kinder, more of a listener to the people that work with you? It takes one step. And I promise you, you will go from change your story, change your life. The minute that happens, you start to change your life. And I leave you with, what would you rather be? Somebody that listens to these stories that gets them nowhere, or someone that says, I'm not listening to my stories. I'm creating my own new stories. Thank you. This episode is brought to you by Try Coaching. I am hoping that this solo podcast, which asks you to look at identifying the stories you tell yourself, which can often lead to self-sabotage and not achieving your goals and successes. However, if you change your story, there's a strong likelihood it'll change your life. Become your own gladiator. What do you have to lose? Reviews encourage people to listen to my podcasts. If you loved what you heard, please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star rating and review. For related content on extraordinary work, please visit my website, trycoaching.com. On my next episode, you'll meet Brandon Gadoris, founder of Warm Heart Life. Brandon is someone with many talents who helps others create change and transformation. If you are personally interested in creating change or making a change within yourself, this is the conversation you won't want to miss. We shine a light on his dedication in helping individuals take charge of their lives, empowering entrepreneurs to master public speaking through his speaker school. Brandon sees personal development as a way of growing together with as many people as possible. And what I also find very interesting is, wait for it, he is a successful stand-up comedian. And I'm not being funny, Brandon is someone you won't forget long after hearing this podcast.